Humans of the planet Earth. While you slept, the world changed. Professor X. To me, my X-Men. House of X, Issue 1. The House That Xavier Built. Written by Jonathan Hickman. Art by Pepe Larraz. 5 months ago, Krakoa. 4 months ago, Westchester. 3 months ago, the blue area of the moon. 2 months ago, Mars. 1 month ago, the Savage Land. 3 weeks ago, Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago, the Jerusalem habitat. Now. Ambassador, you look tired. How was your flight? Same as yours, I'd guess. Unexpected. Charles Xavier decides to deliver a telepathic message to the world, an offer we can't refuse, and here we are, at a habitat I didn't know existed, recognizing the sovereignty of a nation-state I'd never heard of until 4 days ago. How's the saying go? May you live in interesting times? Personally, I'd settle for a bit of predictability and a good night's sleep. Unfortunately, these things I cannot see happening. You're apprehensive? I am. It's the designer drug thing, no? It is a problem. A drug that extends human life 5 years, another that prevents diseases of the mind, and a third that is the most effective adaptive antibiotic the world has ever seen. You say it's a problem. I would call it a gift. It's not a gift if you had to pay. Xavier's only offering these miracle drugs to nations who recognize his. Well, that's called leverage. God knows none of us would ever dare such a thing. Trade deals, treaties, the money and power of it all. These are complications you are all familiar with. What should concern you is the amnesty. You think so? I seem to remember something someone said once. Something about appearing to be one thing while actually being another. You're not actually going to quote Sun Tzu, are you, Ambassador? Why bother? It's not a war if they've already won. Is that your position or the position of the Chinese government? I have been ordered, if put to the question, to accept Xavier's deal. We see the potential of it. Excuse me, ambassadors. We're sorry to have kept you waiting. Please come inside. Welcome to this Krakoan habitat. I'm Ismay. This is Sophie. Actually, Sophie's my human name. I'm thinking of taking another. Anyway, we, along with our sisters, are acting as the temporary staff for this habitat until we're fully up and running. Can I offer anyone something to drink? I'm fine. When will we be meeting Xavier? Charles won't be joining us today. He is otherwise engaged. I admit I'm a poor substitute, but hopefully I'll manage. Magneto, please. Ambassador is fine. Follow me, I'll give you the tour. The Flowers of Krakoa. The mutant island of Krakoa is not just the home of mutants and the seat of their nation-state. It is also the only known producer of the primary economic resource of the mutant nation, the Flowers of Krakoa. For humans. Human drug L. Delivery mechanism. Fabricated synthesized pill. This flower produces a drug that extends the life of a human for 5 years. Human drug I. Delivery mechanism. Fabricated synthesized pill. This flower produces an adaptive universal antibiotic. A super drug for humans. Human drug M. Delivery mechanism. Fabricated synthesized pill. This flower produces a drug that cures diseases of the mind in humans. For mutants. Gateways. Delivery mechanism. Flower. These flowers grow a gateway, a pathway from where one is planted to the twin gateway on Krakoa. Habitat. Delivery mechanism. Flower. This flower produces a habitat. A habitat, a self-sustaining environment, a biome, that is part of the interconnected consciousness of Krakoa. No place. Delivery mechanism. Flower. This non-naturally occurring flower produces a habitat that exists outside the collective consciousness of Krakoa. A place within the island ecosystem that Krakoa doesn't know exists. A Krakoan tumor. The Grey Malkin habitat. Westchester, New York. Can anyone travel through a gateway, Mrs. Grey? No, not everyone. Any mutants can, of course. Krakoa recognizes its own. But anyone or anything that isn't a mutant must be accompanied by one, and even then we have to ask permission. You see, Krakoa is very protective, and it's always important to have good manners. Okay, here we go. Just walk through, and then we'll be on the island. Incoming, Sandra Yo, Wrench. Incoming, Robert Wynn, Sonos Rex. Incoming, Sean Cassidy, Banshee. Incoming, Desmond Ochoa Diaz, Fauna. Incoming, Jean Grey, Marvel Girl. The interface is to count at 12, Cypher. Can you confirm? Jack's out with the Krakoa. See, I told you it would work, Sage. Last week, you built an entire system to manage the traffic of the Krakoa network from scratch. And how cool was that? Coded in a language only you and the island can speak, and bioengineered to run on light and not electricity. Yeah, I can't believe I doubted you. It's time to get with the program, Sage. You need to bury all that cynicism and replace it with good old-fashioned hope. The professor's changed all the old rules, and we've entered a whole new world. Whoa! Yeah, that does about cover it. The plan is for most of the younger mutants to live in the habitat near the lagoon, but there really aren't any rules regarding that. So if you see somewhere else you'd rather be, that's perfectly fine. Oh, wow. Look! That's Professor Xavier over there, with the hairy guy. Yes, why don't you go introduce yourself? And the hairy guy's name is Logan. Welcome home, Gene. You're safe here. We all are. 1. House of X. 2. House of M. 3. Arbor Magna. 4. Arena. 5. Academos Habitat. 6. Transit. 7. The Oracle. 8. The Grove. 9. The Cradle. 10. The Reservoir. 11. The Wild Hunt. 12. The Carousel. There she is. Built on the bones of a planet killer, the Forge is our best hope to survive the coming days. I'm extending the docking collar. She's a Hail Mary for humanity, Agent Mendel. So be gentle when you give her a kiss. Roger that, sir. And contact. The light is green and we have a solid lock. Pressure's good. Okay, Dr. Gregor, you're free to board the station, but keep in mind the first ship of the Orcis convoy is approximately 22 hours away. So if it's not too much trouble, let's start with diagnostics and make sure this place is actually capable of supporting human life before everyone arrives. I'm perfectly aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Erasmus, but I've already had breakfast, and just maybe I don't want to waste my entire morning beholden to my baser instincts. Protocol's boring, dear. Be bold, I say. She's engaged in the safety override of her suit, sir. Of course she is. And this is why we don't have kids. It's about 10 degrees cooler than I'd like, but I'm guessing that's the environment controls pre-programmed to support a full crew. The air's fine. Dr. Smith, please handle the diagnostics so Erasmus will be able to sleep tonight. Dr. Kane, if you don't mind, take a quick look at the power grid. Let's make sure we're converting all the sunlight that's hitting us good and proper like. I really don't want to die of radiation poisoning. Karima, you're with me. Understood. So, what do you think? I think mistakes of this scale should take longer than 6 months to build. Truth be told, the forge would have been completed sooner, but the machines got the nitrogen and water levels wrong, and we lost everything in the habitat. Turns out doomsday plans need a bit more flexibility the closer you get to the sun. I'm not surprised, Doctor. Those are the kind of mistakes men usually make when being overly aggressive. Actually, you can't blame this one on us, Karima. As soon as the predictive models forecasted the extent of what Xavier was planning, Orcus protocols were enacted, we were activated, and the automated refit of the station began. Which is odd. I don't see any machines. I see no brothers, I see no sisters. That's because when construction was completed, all the machines were retasked for mining duty. We're going to need the resources, so they're on Mercury excavating heavy metals. But don't worry, if we need more, we'll have her build them. Hello, beautiful. Orcus Protocol. Initial establishment of Doomsday Network based on evolutionary research regarding the extinction level population density of Homo sapiens superior. See the Cro-Magnon problem. Dr. Alia Gregor. Recruitment of assets and strategic organizations. AIM, SHIELD, Strike, Sword, Alpha Flight, Hammer, Armor, Hydra. As well as funding from black budgets and other human-centric financial considerations. Absorption and adaptations of various organizational assets into next-generation infrastructure. Build for Doomsday operating under the premise that there are 3 areas of concern: population, financial, territorial. Orcus assets establish watchdog programs to observe undetected mutant influence. Orcus structure: 31% AIM, 24% SHIELD, 16% Strike, 8% Sword, 7% Alpha Flight, 5% Hammer, 5% Armor, 4% Hydra. 2 years ago, observation begins. 1 year ago, population alert. Instances of X gene activation have spiked along with the reemergence of established mutant alpha types, long observed as active in the mutant cause. 6 months ago, financial alert. Long observed shell companies wholly owned by the mutant activist Charles Xavier quietly purchased the 7th largest pharmaceutical company in the world and recently announced 3 new drugs, which are poised to destabilize the industry and spread throughout the global financial sectors. 2 months ago, territorial alert. The mutant nation of Krakoa is established. Observation ends. Orcis Protocol enacted. R.E. The Cro-Magnon Problem by Dr. Alia Gregor began as a humanitarian research into mutant repopulation following the Genosian genocide, which resulted in the deaths of over 16 million mutants. Dr. Gregor postulated that, despite best efforts, mutantdom would not be able to repopulate to significant enough numbers to become the eventual dominant species of Homo sapiens on Earth, due to factors including environmental, technological, and specific scientific advancements in genetic engineering and artificial intelligence. What she found disproved her theory. Not only were mutants repopulating/reappearing at a higher rate than expected, but a regression analysis of previous growth patterns of mutants revealed that, if not for Genosha, mutants would have become the dominant species on Earth within 10 years due to cascading biological and cultural mutant-positive variables. What Genosha bought mankind was time that they didn't know they didn't have. Dr. Gregor's new timeline suggests that humanity has 20 years left. Orcis Command Structure. Director, Dr. Killian DeVoe, age 63. Affiliation, Strike. Head of Engineering, Zeha Gary, age 37, affiliation, Alpha Flight. Military Command, Colonel Walker Kin, age 49, affiliation. Science Command, Dr. Alia Gregor, age 32, affiliation, AIM. Machine Liaison, Karima Shependar, age 28, perpetual, Omega Sentinel, affiliation, unknown. Damage Control, Contested Storage Facility. This has gone south, Toad, and gone south quickly. How much longer? You think it's easy searching the combined databases of not one but two of the smartest people in the world, copying what we need and then making it look like I was never here? Well, it's not Mystique. I have limitations, and it's going to take as long as beep. Okay, we can go. You probably shouldn't have wasted the effort making it look like we were never here. Others weren't so careful. I think you broke a few of them, Sabretooth. Yeah, well, they were fragile. Then again, what ain't? There's never a good excuse for recklessness, Creed, especially when the plan called for us to quietly get in and out, then lie low before we deliver the data. Now I think we're going to need a more direct exit strategy. Washington Square? Yes, that's close. Both of you, shut up. We got company. Ah! Would you look at that, Ben? A bunch of no-good thieves taking stuff that don't belong to them. Now what do we do with those no-good thieves? Nothing nice, Johnny. Both of you, go. I got this. That's mighty bold talk for a guy who smells like burnt hair. Smile for me. If you don't get out of here with the data, this was all for nothing. We have to make a gateway. Should we run? I think we should. Yes, run! Damage Control. While this corporate entity traditionally serve in a quarantine or repair/rebuild capacity, Damage Control also operates as the archival unit for the government-contested metahuman machinery and technology that belongs to missing, incapacitated, or deceased individuals, where either a clear chain of custody does not exist, or the items in question pose an existential threat to the United States. Current inventory in the Damage Control Contested Storage Facility is made up almost exclusively of advanced schematics and disassembled material created or owned by Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and Tony Stark, Iron Man. List of security items. Level 5, Soul's Anvil, Soul's Hammer, The Bridge, Iron Man Mark 5, Iron Man Mark 6, Iron Man Mark 7, Iron Man Mark 8, Rescue Mark 1, Rescue Mark 2, Anti-Protein Sling, Multiversal Beacon. In the recent past, both Stark and Richards have gone to great lengths to ensure that their technology did not fall into the hands of entities like Damage Control, but their normal avenue of evasion, leaving control of their intellectual property to each other, failed when Richards was missing for a prolonged period of time, and Stark was presumed dead. Rights to all current materials are being contested. If you look around, you'll see now we've left the habitat in Jerusalem behind. This gateway leads to this hub, and through this hub, we can reach any number of other habitats and gateways, each one a piece of the larger interconnected Krakoan ecosystem. How do you know which door leads where? I won't lie, at first it was easy to get turned around. Familiarity helps. But just to be safe, we asked Krakoa to grow some signs, so no one would lose their way. See? Am I supposed to be able to read that? Of course not. It's nothing. It's gibberish. Well, it's certainly not Russian, English, French, or Chinese, but it is language. Ours. It's Krakoan, and every mutant who lives among us is telepathically imprinted in their cerebral cortex the day they arrive. So you made your own language. Of course we did. One cannot create a distinct culture without it. And make no mistake, that is exactly what Charles Xavier is doing. Come on, let's go through here. As you can see, Krakoa is not limited by distance, or elevation, or even environment. Excuse me, I don't mean to spoil the grand tour, but at some point we have to talk about the military aspects of all of this. The inherent advantage of being able to move an army any distance without being seen, let's just say you have to throw out a couple thousand years of military strategy. People are going to have a problem with this. Where you see an instrument of war, I see an unassailable refuge. That's quite a difference. Some would call it semantics. Either way, it's an advantage. There's never been a mutant war, Ambassador. We've never conquered a people, stolen their land, or made slaves of the vanquished. That's our real advantage. Excuse me, but when are we actually going to go to Krakoa? Well, at this point, Krakoa is as much of an idea as it is an actual place. But if you mean the main island itself, we won't be going there. Why not? You have heard Charles Xavier's offer. Mutants are the evolutionary inheritors of this world. All of it. But instead of claiming it, we are giving it to you and keeping only a small portion for ourselves. The island, you see, is ours. And ours alone. Man is not welcome there. Creed, we're leaving! Quit fucking around and let's go! Huh? Nice of you to show up, Sue. How'd you know where to cut them off? It was actually pretty simple once you identified them. There's really only one place where they could conceive. Heads up, Reed. The gate's active again. Someone's coming through. Ah, how wonderful. The Richards family. And you, Ben, I hear you got married. Mazel tov. Oh, thanks, Slim. Of course. And everyone else is fine? Doing well? You know, just the normal fireworks, Cyclops. What would life be without little surprises? So. Shall I take Mr. Creed off your hands? But we just caught him. Why would we do something like that? You're a smart man, Dr. Richards. I know you know what amnesty means. I do. I also know that Sabretooth broke any number of laws in the last hour, including no small number of injuries to guards, and a high probability that some of those injuries are significant, possibly fatal. Are you really offering amnesty from that? It's upsetting, I know, but I'm afraid we are. New beginnings demand a wide berth. Then I think we have a problem with that. Fair enough. I can see you feel strongly about this. Why don't you keep him? We'll deal with it some other time. Some other way. What? Are you fucking kidding me, Summers? Shut up. Cyclops, this amnesty, the other things Xavier is doing. What are you all thinking? My family has spent our entire lives being hunted and hated. The world has told me that I was less when I knew I was more. Did you honestly think that we were going to sit around forever and just take it? Of course not. But it's really very simple, Susan. I believe in what Charles Xavier is doing. Please greet your son for me, and tell him when he's ready, he has a family on Krakoa waiting for him. Omega level. Omega level mutant. A mutant whose dominant power is deemed to register, or reach, an undefinable upper limit of that power's specific classification. For example, both Magneto and Forge are the most powerful mutants of their power types on the planet Earth, magnetism and techopathy, respectively. What makes Magneto and not Forge an Omega-level mutant is that the upper limit of Forge's measurable powers could hypothetically be surpassed, and in fact has, by multiple humans on the planet, while the upper limit of Magneto's power cannot be surpassed in any measurable fashion. Note: Omega level is a classification of a single mutant power. While it is quite common that mutant manifests multiple powers, only one is normally Omega level. For example, while Jean Grey is both a telepath and a telekinetic, she's only an Omega level telepath. Omega level mutants. Known. Name, alias, Omega power, alliance. Jamie Braddock. Monarch. Reality manipulation. Quantum. None. Robert Drake. Iceman. Temperature manipulation. Negative. Krakoa.
Joshua Foley.
Elixir. Biokinesis. Krakoa. Jean Grey. Marvel Girl. Telepathy. Krakoa. David Haller. Legion. Power manifestation. Unknown. Eric Lenshier. Magneto. Magnetism. Krakoa. Kevin McTaggart. Proteus. Reality manipulation. Psionic. Krakoa. Absalon Mercator. Mr. M. Matter manipulation. Unknown. Aurora Monroe. Storm. Weather manipulation. Krakoa. Bennett Duperry. Exodus. Telekinesis. None. Quentin Quiet. Kid Omega. Telepathy. Krakoa. Franklin Richard. Powerhouse. Reality manipulation. Universal. Human. Gabriel Summers. Vulcan. Energy manipulation. Krakoa. Hope Summers. Hope. Power manipulation. Krakoa. Omega Protocol. While it is believed that a greater dynamo is possible through a collective means, it is a current priority for the mutant nation of Krakoa to protect and nurture its greatest natural resource, Omega-level mutants. All efforts are to be expended in order to secure the future of the state. One people, one tribe, one family. The Krakoan habitat, Jerusalem. So, what have we learned? That in return for recognizing Krakoa as a nation of good standing, you will... No, I wasn't speaking to you. Well, our host ambassador from Israel decided to join her fellow representatives from the Security Council today. She's with them, but not with them. She's also ex-military and doesn't really care for them, or for you for that matter, but that's no surprise. As for the others, well, they've been trained to withstand telepathy, just not trained well enough. They're all plants, sir. What? Outrageous. Ma Mingyu is actually the head of the State of Science Office. Both he and influential members of Parliament are eager to agree to our terms. They see the political and scientific opportunity our asymmetry represents. Jean-Pierre Cole actually is an ambassador, but he bought it with his private sector pharmaceutical money. He'll agree to Xavier's terms if we allow him special access to our drugs. That's how they say, win-win. Natalie Volek is a Red Sky senior operator who would have never agreed with our terms. It's even more true now that she knows the others would. Am I right, or am I right? If this is what we have become, it might be best if we were replaced. Walter Repion is interesting. He's an agent of Strike, but he actually doesn't care about any of this. He's just here because he's been assigned to watch Riley Marshall, who is an ex-SHIELD and Sword Black Ops agent. There's some other affiliation, but he's fighting me. Get out of my head! Oh, he also has a weapon of some sort. Would you like for me to do something about that, sir? No need. I wasn't going to use it. It was for my protection. Of course. That's how it always starts. Should I show him out? No. Some would be offended at a wolf presenting as a sheep, but I've learned hard lessons from your kind, so I know the truth. You are all wolves. And it's good that you are here, all of you, as you really are. So you can go home and tell your masters what you have learned. I want you to tell them. Charles Xavier has made you an offer, one full of grace and brotherly love, but one that is also written in stone. This is not a negotiation. Things will be different now, and sooner you realize the finality of your situation and the inevitability of ours, the sooner you will learn to be grateful for the things we are so generously giving you. Do you know what you sound like? I do, and it feels good to finally say it. So you summoned us here to Jerusalem to what? Threaten us? A promise is not a threat, Ambassador. And I summoned you to this place for a wholly superficial reason.
You see, I know how you humans love your symbolism, almost as much as you love your religion. And I needed you to understand. You have new gods now.